Okay, welcome back. We're looking at Jeremy Duff, Elements of New Testament Greek, and I want to do something a little bit different today. I've had a few questions asking for help with pronunciation, and so we're going to look at practice 1.3 and 1.4 on page 16, and I'm going to really slow down and help you with the pronunciation of some of these names in questions A, 1 to 8, and also we'll do question C, the Lord's Prayer. I'll read it really nicely and really nice and slowly. Whether I'll read it nicely, you be the judge, but nice and slowly so you can pick up all the words. Somebody also asked for a literal translation of this, just out of interest, I guess, to see where the words are coming from, what they actually mean. We'll do that at the end as well. It's a special treat for you. Okay, so first, let's try and get some of these pronunciations nailed down. So practice 1.3a, number 1, Paulos, Paulos. Notice the diphthong, alpha upsilon, so we pronounce that as one syllable, Paulos, not Paulos, but Paulos, Paulos. Number 2, Maria, Maria. Here, notice you've got two vowels next to each other, the iota and the alpha, but that's not a diphthong. There's never an iota alpha diphthong in Greek, so we pronounce these as two distinct syllables. Ia, Maria, Maria. I'd like to roll the rho like r, but you don't need to do that. Maria is perfectly fine. Number 3, now this is a slightly tricky one. Excuse me. Abraham, Abraham. Now you might be tempted to pronounce the two alphas as an R sound, like perhaps you pronounce Baal when you read the Old Testament, or analogous to how you pronounce vacuum, as in vacuum cleaner, with two U's next to each other. And that's fine if you want to pronounce Baal like that and vacuum like that. In the old days, of course, people used to say vacuum because they pronounced the two U's as distinct syllables. That's certainly what I'd encourage you to do here with Abraham, because if you pronounce them as one A sound, you will end up spelling it with one alpha in the second half of the word, and that won't help you to get your spelling correct. So Abraham, Abraham. This number 4, a little bit more tricky, because again, this looks a bit unfamiliar. Iosef, Iosef. Now, if you're struggling to work out what that is what name that is in English, try replacing the iota with an English J, and of course you get Joseph. That's easier to figure out, isn't it? But in terms of pronunciation, smooth breathing on the iota. There's no diphthong. Iota omega is not a diphthong, and the omega is a long O, and the eta is a long air sound. So Iosef, there are 3 syllables. Iosef, Iosef. Number 5, much easier. Simone, Simone. The long omega again. Also notice the I sound, don't pronounce it Simone, because if you say Simone, you'll start spelling it sigma alpha iota. The I sound is reserved for the alpha iota diphthong, as in chi, kappa alpha iota, meaning and. Okay, number 6, this is probably the trickiest of the lot, okay? Take a look. Now, what on earth's that H at the beginning? Remember, it's not an H. What the English uppercase H is the transliterated form of the uppercase eta, the long E in Greek. Then notice also there's a rough breathing before it. Look closely, put your glasses on if you need to, I certainly would. So the sound is an air, but it's got a h before it because of the rough breathing. So it's hair, that's the first syllable. Then you've got the rho and omega. Well, the omega has got an iota subscript, but you ignore that for the purposes of pronunciation. So that's rho. And then at the end, delta, eta, long air sound, sigma, des. So we've got Herodes. Oh, I made a mistake, didn't I? Herodes, not Herodes. If you say Herodes, you'll start spelling it with an omicron, which is wrong. Herodes. Herod, of course. Number 7, you've probably figured this out, even though it's a bit longer. Jerusalem, Jerusalem. Notice there I'm pronouncing the two vowels, iota and epsilon, distinctly and separately as 2 syllables, but the omicron upsilon as 1 syllable because it's a diphthong again. So Jerusalem, and the eta sound at the end. And finally, number 8, Caesar, Caesar, meaning Caesar or Kaiser, with Germanic English word Kaiser. Okay, so that's A. Now, how about part C? This is the first half of the Lord's Prayer. And of course, you know what the Lord's Prayer is, but what I'm going to do now is just to read it really nice and slowly, and I'll try not to make any mistakes for you, just so you can follow along with me. And then I'll give you, like I promised, a rough translation at the end, just so you can see where all the words come from. Okay, here goes. Pater haemon ho entois uranois. Hagias theto. There you see, I told you I'd make a mistake. Hagias theto to onoma su. I was already looking at the to, that's my excuse. Anyway, Hagias theto to onoma su. El theto, look at me today. El theto, it's because you're watching. El theto, please ignore that last bit. El theto ho basileia su. Gene theto to thelema su. Hos en urano kai epiges. Okay, now let me give you the rough translation just so you see where these are coming from. You know what it says, our Father who art in heaven and so on. That's the correct idiomatic translation, but literally, kind of word for word translation. Pater haemon, Father of us. Ho entois uranois, the in the heavens. So more idiomatically, the one who is in the heavens. So there we get Father of us, the one who is in the heavens. Our Father who is in heaven, our Father who art in heaven, or our Father in heaven. Hagias theto, may it be made holy, or something like that. To onoma su. Hagias theto to onoma su. Now here's interesting because to onoma is the subject of Hagias theto. It's in the nominative case, but doesn't come first in the sentence. We sometimes, in English obviously, you're saying hallowed be your name, but your name is the subject of hallowed, may it be made holy, and su is of you. So literally, may it be made holy, the name of you. El theto he basileia su, may it come, the kingdom of you. You start to see there's a nice parallelism emerging here, isn't there? May it be holy, the name of you. May it come, the kingdom of you. He basileia is the kingdom, and su is of you again. Gene theto to thelema su. Gene theto, may it be done. So you've got may it be made holy, may it come, may it be done. To thelema, the will, su, of you. So may it be done, the will of you. Hos en urano kai epiges. Now you notice urano looks quite similar to uranois at the top in the first line, the last word in the first line. Urano is one of the singular forms. It's the dative singular, whereas uranois is the dative plural. Urano means heaven. So as in heaven, kai, also, or and, epiges. Kai normally means and, but in this context it means also, because it's coordinated in one way or another with hos, meaning as or just as. So hos, just as, en urano, in heaven, kai, also, so also, epi, upon or on, ges, earth. Ges is the word from which we get geology and geography and so on. Ge is the prefix, anything to do with the earth or the land or the ground. Okay, so there you go. There's a bit of help with pronunciation, complete with my mistakes. Now, what do my mistakes teach you about the whole exercise? They actually teach you something quite useful. They teach you this: please don't wait until you feel like you're perfect before moving on. Some of you out there, I'm sure, are perfectionists. That's probably why you're learning Greek in the first place, because you really want to get to grips with the New Testament as well as you possibly can. Don't let your perfectionism make you grind to a halt in the third section of the book because you don't feel you've got the pronunciation nailed. If you move on, even though you've not got it quite right, you'll be fine if you keep working at it, because as you work at the later things, you will sharpen your grasp of the earlier things as well. And there will come a day when you can certainly pronounce this better than I can if you keep working hard at it, and you will not be able to remember the day when you actually couldn't pronounce it competently. So keep going, working hard, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, 5 or 6 days a week, and we'll have you reading the New Testament in no time at all. Okay, God bless. See you next time.